Hello, everyone. Grateful to be here with you in this exquisite full moon energetic that will be on this recording no matter when you listen to it. And there's so many layers I'm seeing with this full moon. I could feel the potency of it a couple weeks ago and felt that it was really, really hopeful to bring forward something for this particular unprecedented energies we are in. It's like the stars have aligned in a very particular way, in that we can actually ride these waves of what's available, what's possible from the higher perspective, while allowing, it's like what I'm seeing, I'll just as clear as I can explain this. It's like the idea of the two world split. The new earth is manifest in a higher dimension. It's really, are we able to tune into that, even though there's still remnants of the old, maybe even getting louder in this end of cycle, end of great grand cycle polarity play out? Is it possible for us as beings, as conscious beings, to tune into what's being welcomed versus what's actually in its last um, expression as it is in the process of being retired? Meaning the polarity, the extreme polarities are all getting louder right now. And we did a free upload to our YouTube channel last fall. I think it was called Polarity Playout. It might have been December time, but it was a couple months ago. And so you might revisit that one because it's really pertinent for this time that we're in, and really this energetic of the extremes of the um, endings, new beginnings that are in process. Like we're in it. Energetically, it's happening. And so what would it take for us as beings, using our free will conscious choice, to choose to rise above, if you will, to the higher terrain where we aren't as negatively impacted by um, the tumbling and the surf that's happening for those who are in a different choice? So there's a choice, right? There's a choice that we can choose to get tumbled in the surf. And that may be an old pattern, an old way of evolving that we used to kind of hold as our main tool in our toolbox. How are we going to evolve? Well, we're going to get in the messy and we're going to roll around in it. And we're going to swing on the pendulum from one extreme to another. And we've done this lifetime after lifetime. And in one lifetime, we might be on one end of the polarity extreme, and on the next lifetime, we're at the other. And in this lifetime, we may have experienced oscillating on all ends of extremes in various ways in various areas of life, in an attempt and really a process of retiring that mechanism of the extremes of the polarity, because Earth is ascending and humanity and the body devas and all of us are being invited to go with her into the higher octave, where that is no longer the playground. That is no longer the template for evolution. She used to hold space for that and still does sort of as it retires, but she's really choosing, Earth Gaia is choosing to move into, ascend into an expression of herself where she now holds a very different energetic platform for evolution. And as she ascends, she's a very empowered being. She doesn't need us to save her. As she ascends, um, she is remembering her own empowerment, her own connection to the galactic community, and so are all the elements of Earth. And today I saw a layer that we're going to look at, which I'm really excited about, the crystals within Earth and of Earth. And so we're going to bring in a process with that for the crystals to support this evolution. And it's really, really cool. I've never seen it this way before. And so if you have crystals, that you work with, you might want to either bring them to mind or gather them with you for that portion of the transmission. You don't have to, but it could be fun. It could be playful to play with your crystals as we enter into that portion of this transmission. And there are lots of different layers to this transmission, as usual. We're also going to look at what this full moon is inviting for each of us with regard to heart activation. And it's like a remembering and a way of seeing self in a new light. And so before we dive deeply into all these layers, because I know we can tend to get really altered, I wanted to speak to a couple of things that we have coming available. And one of those is we're going to be doing a 222 galactic Stargate transmission on February 22nd, which is about 10 days away, but it will be here before we know it. Time is doing all kinds of interesting yoga moves, and our relationship with time is being reinvented. So encouraging you, if that resonates, to go check it out on our website to enroll, and we'll get you that ticket so you can join us for that on a sliding scale, that energetic transmission for the 222 galactic Stargate gloriousness. And all of this is really leading us up to this transmission, that transmission, and the other ones I'm going to speak to, all preparation for the launch point that we are preparing for, which is launching the new epoch. And we're actually doing a 5-day immersion for that because it is that intense of an energetic opportunity. Launching a new epoch, like when you think about it, it's like, okay, we can think of once in a lifetime experiences, but this is once in an epoch experience that we have the opportunity to adjust our sails appropriately to launch into the new epoch in a way that is empowering and honoring and from a place where we're grounded and anchored in who we really are in truth. And in the 5-day immersions, there's a momentum that's garnered. There's a really large container that we cultivate, that we really start to marinate in together from the moment you enroll. So we do have a couple partial scholarships still available for that 5-day immersion with us. If it resonates to join us, we encourage you to go to our website. It's up on the main page now, and to read and to feel into whether it's calling you, to feel into whether it makes sense that you have prepared lifetimes for this time. And oh my gosh, how amazing would it be to collaborate in a gathering of light and to celebrate the launch and to be in an appropriate container that looks at, okay, how can we optimize this? How can we, as creator beings, as one with source beings, launch from that empowered, anchored, connected place that then flavors everything after that? If you think about shooting an arrow, wherever you shoot the arrow from, like where you're aiming, is going to decide its trajectory. And this is a similar launch. It's like we're going to launch into a certain trajectory, and a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, 10 lifetimes from now, it's going to have a major effect on flavoring that trajectory that we're on. Not that we can't adjust along the way, but they're showing the launch point informs in a potent way because there's an energetic oomph behind it. It informs and it ripples into so many future, past, current. It's not just linear. All dimensions where you're expressing yourself, really. There's a potent, energetic, and they're going to bring it in energetically. Each of you are going to see this and connect to this in your own way, where it's like, okay, it's like this major energetic opportunity for heightened potentials and to garner those heightened potentials in a way that's empowering, that's aligned, that amplifies the freedom, that amplifies the what's honoring for you, what's authentic to you, what you're meant to be, do, and have, and become, and see yourself as. And it's like all of those things, all of the desires you have deep within your heart, that are innately yours from Creator, those get to begin to become part of your current in a way that informs you along that trajectory, because you're choosing to launch from an empowered place, from an authentic place, from a connected place. And so I could talk all day about it. It's really a really wonderful, energetic opportunity. We haven't offered a 5-day immersion since, I believe, it's been 2 years, over 2 years. I could be wrong about that because, again, my concept of time is. But if you do it with us, you don't have to join live. If you do, it is interactive, and we kind of bounce back and forth between transmission and then Q&A, questions, interactions. And it is going to be offered live via Zoom, so you can call in or join with us via video, internet, just like you're doing now. And it's meant to be the new earth, where we're going, model for how to collaborate in our evolution. It's a we. It's a how do we collaborate in healthy co-creative ways to amplify support and reflect the support that flows within us into a group field, to be able to utilize it and garner momentum around who I wish to be and become. And so that 5-day immersion is an opportunity to really have that momentum of the 5 days marinating in the energetic with very specific intentions that you get to set for you. And we help to, it's like, water those seeds, germinate those seeds of intention that you have for you. So it becomes a very unique, it can be very unique, gift that you give to yourself of healthy co-creative collaboration that we don't do very often. So feel into if it resonates for you. And it is on our website. It's called Launching a New Epoch. It starts March 17th. It's over the spring equinox. So much I could say about it. So again, encourage collaboration with your higher self and your body's higher self to determine if it's right for you. And if you want to inquire about the partial scholarships, email us. We are also going to be offering an Empowered Evolution Masterclass on the 23rd of February, and I'm going to be sharing more about that. But the layers that I saw that are wishing to come forward for that masterclass are relating to Body Deva, and it relates to control and how it's like patterns of control and how the body's using its control energy. And then also deeper layers that I was seeing just yesterday around the body trying to process challenges that don't belong to it, that are someone else's challenges. So that's really going to be the focus for that Empowered Evolution Masterclass. We might have to do more than one for that. We'll see, but we're going to start with one and see if we need a second, to get all of the layers. Each time we do an energetic process, even though it can seem repetitive, it's always done a little differently. And it's like they're showing me like a yoga move. Like when you practice yoga and you do a yoga move over and over, you get better at it each time. And then you can start doing more advanced yoga moves that might be similar, but take it to the next level. So that's really a very similar, good metaphor for how this energetic play work is each time we do it, we get better at it and we're stronger in it. And each time we do a process, we're different. We change every time. We evolve a little bit. We evolve ourselves every time. Our body devas evolve every time. So each time we do it, we're different. And so play with this idea that it is a slow and steady evolutionary tool, this type of work. But this type of work, play, I'm starting to kind of intertwine the two, as we move forward into the new epoch. It's actually proactive in that we hold the reins, meaning you hold for you, I hold for me. Each of us for ourselves hold the reins for our own evolution, and we're no longer giving responsibility to something outside of us to evolve us. And when we hold the reins for our own evolution, we bypass the need for the other ways of evolving. It's like we graduate. We don't need the external to trigger us or to test us in a certain way to get us to shift or change or to look at something. We can proactively choose, if we choose, to take the reins of our evolution and to be willing to use tools that function from an empowered place, that function from a place of awareness and connection, instead of the victim way of old, where we kind of give the power to the external, even to astrological alignments, to evolve us. So we're going to start with that and encouraging each of you at the level of your higher selves, Body Davis higher selves and teams, to retrieve all responsibility for your own evolution, if you choose, off of everyone and everything in the outer world, retrieving it back to you, holding it at the level of your higher self. So you get to collaborate with your higher self to evolve you, and that's it. It's in your column, direct vertical. I get to evolve me. And that's empowering. And as you retrieve that responsibility and encourage your higher self to do it for you, really, which is you doing it for you, it's just you in a higher realm that has the bird's eye view, can see it all, far beyond our conscious awareness, because we've unconsciously given away responsibility without even realizing we have. Higher self, body's higher self, where you retrieve all responsibility for our evolution off of everyone and everything, encouraging the teams to do the same, so that we can be empowered in our process of evolving. And just a reminder that we don't evolve you in these sessions. All we do is show you how, encourage you, invite you to evolve yourself. And so we encourage you to receive that energetically far beyond the mind, what we mean by that. This isn't a hierarchical structure where the ones who perceive themselves as higher up on the totem pole or the hierarchy or the mountain attempt to evolve those who are less evolved or use their energy on those less evolved to evolve them. That is not how we function. We function in the form of invitations. We look from our vantage point and we share what we see. And then you get to choose for you if you wish to take a step forward or not, if you wish to perceive something in a different way or not. We don't want for you to be different, and we don't tell you you need to be different. What we do is we encourage you to see what you're doing. We help you become aware of what you're doing so that you can make an empowered choice for yourselves. And then in collaboration with higher selves, the energetic processes help you to shift it in a way to really do the energetic yoga moves in a way that shift your stance in how you are perceiving, seeing, vibrating, aligning, agreeing, what you're choosing to be vibrationally as a being. And much of this work is you choosing to be more empowered. That's really woven into all of it, is the greater levels of empowerment. And that means retiring victim, retiring experiences of victim, retiring experiences of not enough, retiring the experiences of not being connected to source, to infinite source. And we can see that you are, regardless of what you're experiencing, we see that you are, we're going to witness now for you, that you are connected to an infinite source. And we're going to encourage you to remember that. And so when we say that, it's not about then engaging and employing the mental body, the mind, to do that, to conjure it. It's about using our awareness, our mental capacity to choose. Well, if I had a choice between experiencing myself as separate from source and experiencing myself as one with source, what do I choose? Oh, I choose the oneness, or not, whatever you choose. And so if you're choosing the oneness, the connection, then next step is, so we just use the mind to choose the connection. Now we're going to use the mind to make a request to our higher self. Use your mind and your imagination. Higher self, will you do that? Will you support me in remembering I am connected to an infinite source? I'm willing. I choose it. Then the mind is that's the job of the mind. The mind can rest now, can take a backseat, can observe, can allow. And now the energetic fields engage, the higher self engages the energetic fields to shift. It's really like, oh, new reality. Yoga moves, energetic stance, vibration, lenses of perception, whatever needs to shift so that you're perceiving yourself from a greater place of connection because you're choosing it. And you're not believing and putting energetic weight on the fact that you're separate. You might have been experiencing yourself as separate, and that got your attention so that you can now make a choice. Okay, I don't have to believe that I'm separate from source. I can choose to experience myself as one with source, and I can ask my higher self to shift my fields, to shift my vibration in a way where that becomes my experience of myself. Because I have the capacity to choose, because I am an infinite being fully connected to an infinite source with free will. And then once you've made the request, you allow for the shift, and you may not feel anything, or you may feel very subtle, different resonance come in. Maybe the body relaxes a little bit. You can invite the body, Deva, nature spirit to do this for itself. Body Deva is a nature spirit of earth that you partner with to have a horse to ride, to have boots on the ground, to have an anchor point in the physical realm, earth realm. And then you invite a balancing and stabilizing of all the energetic fields, updating all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. And that's basically a sync up with who you've become. And I could just say that without saying all the words. I could just say, okay, now sync up with who you've become. The reason I say all the words is to help you be more empowered in the process so you know what that means. So you know, oh, yeah, I'm an energetic being and I have energetic fields and I have all these grids that are running behind the scenes, codes that are running behind the scenes, programs that run behind the scenes. And when I make a shift in my energetic fields, in my psyche, in my energetic conscious and unconscious ways of being, I need to sync everything up. Good. Balance and stabilize, update all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. Okay, we're going to look at a sovereignty piece. With this full moon, it's the Leo full moon, there's really potent, strong energetics here for us to move into greater sovereignty. It's like an energetic invitation into greater sovereignty, greater empowerment, but it's really heart power, activations of the heart, and there are other layers to it. But it's also what it's like this idea of self-expression, authenticity. But with this particular energetic of sovereignty, they wanted me to speak to this in this way because as we enter more and more and more into what I'm going to call the polarity playout getting louder, and they're reminding me the polarity playout transmission that we did that you can find on our YouTube channel. And I might put a link below once we're complete here and it's uploaded to our YouTube channel. Because this replay will be on our YouTube channel. It was November. because it was around it was around the 1st of November. And so the polarity playout's going to get louder because we're at end of grand cycle, end of great grand cycle. And we're in the experience of prepping for the new dawn of new great grand cycle. And during this time of endings, new beginnings, there's a lot of this energetic happening. It's been happening over the past year. And last year, all the eclipses were super potent, really for the last year and a half, because it's been in this same energetic of endings, new beginnings, preparing us for this end of great grand cycle, beginning of next great grand cycle. And with this next new moon on February 27th, that's going to feel like the beginning of eclipse season because, again, of this preparation for the launch of the new epoch. And so anytime we have this type of energetic that is inviting us to complete something in order to welcome the new, it's very similar to, they show me the idea of the trapeze, that you can't grab the next rung until you let go of the past one, or the like swinging on the vines like Tarzan. You can't grab the next vine until you let go of the old vine. And so it's like we have to find way for us as beings to be willing, and again, it's not a have to, but it's like inevitable in a way, because we're going to be welcoming the new, and we can do it kicking and screaming, or we can do it in an empowered way where we link into the new, and we like the new vine, and we literally let it carry us in an exhilarating, joyous way into the new beginning. And it's actually incredibly glorious from my perspective, what's being welcomed. So what can be coming up for us at this time is anywhere where an end of cycle didn't end well. Old trauma. During this time, also any trauma, anything that wasn't fully resolved from previous incarnations. So you might have had memories coming up, things coming up where it's like the past wanting to resolve itself, or you don't even know why this emotion is arising, this fear, this anxiety, or this grief. And it's actually from a previous incarnation that we never fully processed it. And we might even be trying to blame current events or situations for why we feel the way we do, when actually the current event or situation is triggering the old stuff from this incarnation or previous incarnations that we haven't fully allowed to process and used for our evolution. And so we're going to bring in a process for that. But the first thing they want us to do before we do that process is to ground. And really during this time, there's so many heightened energies coming in right now with this full moon, and it's going to continue. It's really a gateway of the next, I'd say, 2 to 3 more days. We need to ground it. And because the collective that isn't aware and awake enough to receive these codes in this higher frequency and integrate it in a conscious way, they're going to be very ungrounded and probably using a lot of emotion stuff to try to ground. And then we'll empathically feel them. So we're going to bring in a process for that first, and then we'll do the other. We invite you to take a deep breath in, leaning into your column of light, remembering yourself as the ray of light, the column of light that emanates directly from source. And are you willing to let go of anywhere else you've identified as not that? Like, you're a column of light. You're a being of light. First and foremost, that's you. Can we show you how to orient as that? And can we show you what it feels like, how to, that it's safe to anchor into your light? Because that's where you're safe, that's where you're supported, that's where all your resources are. Your light is what supports you. Your light is what liberates you. Your light is what inspires you, sustains you. It's your light. It's not anything in the outer world. So anywhere you've been perceiving or experiencing or agreeing that anything outside of you, anything happening outside of you is somehow diminishing your ability to have. Are you willing to release and uncreate that? And remember that your having is within your inner divine sanctuary nectar, where you're connected to infinite source and all your resources live. Nothing outside of you is the gatekeeper for you getting to have it. We retrieve all responsibility for you having you off of everyone and everything back to your column of light and anchor there. Can we show you how? And inviting the body, Deva, nature spirits to do the same. Retrieve all your focus, your creative energy, your attachment off of everyone and everything in the outer world back to you. You get to choose for you. Hold all your will on you to choose for you. Hold all your fabric, your gifts, your wisdom, your mastery, your life force on you for you, your control energy on you for you, and then you use that to ground you. And are you willing to release all the meaning you gave any stories about something outside of you being responsible for you having, whether it was peace or safety or support or connection? Retrieve all responsibility back to you. You get to have you at core level, at source level. No one can take that from you. And that's empowering to know and to remember. Oh, wait, I'm this being of light connected to an infinite source. And yay, we don't have to talk more. Like there isn't more we have to reconcile if we're willing to just remember that one thing is absolutely true and never not true. So can we show you how to reference the truth within you and to anchor there and invite your higher selves, if you choose, to activate and amplify greater truth within you as a vibration. Whatever you activate and amplify within your river of light will reflect more in your outer world. And when you connect to the truth within, amplify the truth within, then you become more discerning because you start to feel the resonance of what is and isn't authentic or true because you've amplified it within you. You become your own tuning fork for that. Retrieve all responsibility for discerning what's true off of everyone and everything back to you. Let your higher self do it. Not us at this level because there's a lot of dilution factor in physical realm. We want to encourage our higher self to hold that responsibility for discernment, and then you can invite higher self to activate and amplify even greater discernment. And inviting body, even nature spirit to connect with Gaia in an appropriate dimension, maybe in the heart of Gaia Earth, and receive your new root system, Body Deva, for the new energetic terrain, which is much more etheric. New Earth is much more etheric, less dense. Body Deva, get your new roots that work for you. And we're not going to micromanage the Body Devas. The Body Devas are their own sovereign beings. They're aspects of Gaia. We can make a request and invite them to go get their new roots, and they might go, oh yeah, I can go get new roots from Mother Gaia. Let me go do that. Because they forget that they're connected. They're in an experience, a perception of disconnection because most of humanity is. And it's very, very challenging for any being to stay in its sovereignty, to stay in its own free will choice when it's in a group of beings doing something else. And so that's what awakening is, becoming aware that we get to choose for ourselves, becoming empowered in our choice. We're just helping the body devas in that graduation, that remembering that they can do it their way. They don't have to do it the way everyone else is doing it. Can be more conscious, more aware, more intentional. And then body deva, nature, spirit, ground more. Balance and stabilize the Merkabic disc. Calibrate the Merkabic disc appropriately, your energetic fields appropriately for a more grounded, balanced, stabilized. It's like energetic configuration, I guess, stance. And then send body deva, once you've integrated that, balance and stabilize, update all grids, all reference points, send all the information you have. You and your body deva can both send all the information you have to all the beings on and off planet that are feeling unstable, ungrounded, disconnected, disempowered, inviting you, your body, your teams to send them all the energetic information you have, because a lot of times we'll empathically feel others because we have energetic information for them that we haven't sent. So encouraging you, your body, your teams to just send all that energetic information and return any responsibility back to them for their own grounding of themselves, for their own stabilizing themselves. Return any of their empathic sensations back to them, and activate and amplify more compassion for those who are comfortable with getting tumbled in the surf, because that's the mechanism they're using to evolve themselves. And it might not look like they're comfortable, but they're more comfortable in the suffering and the struggle because they're used to it than they would be in the absence of it. And so that's not a judgment. It's evolution at its finest. Everybody gets to be where they are in the mountain. And at one time we were in an evolutionary step and stage where the only mechanism we could reach for was the struggle, because we weren't awake and aware enough to start employing the new ways of being and evolving. And now we are. Hence, we do these types of gatherings. These are new ways of being and evolving that are more conscious, that are more empowering. And we can still choose the struggle. But many times what I've noticed working with people in individual and group sessions is that we're still choosing the struggle for various reasons, but one of the main reasons is it's empathic, it's not really ours, and or we're trying to fit in. I'm asking the guys if there are any others. We're used to it, it's familiar. And they're showing me the idea again of the vines, of swinging from one vine to another. And in order for us to grab the next vine, the new ways of being beyond the struggle, we have to be willing to let go of the old. And it can be a process where little by little we unravel from the ways of being in struggle. And for most of us, that's what it looks like. We do it in steps and stages. And the body Deva does it in steps and stages. So if you're choosing to graduate from struggle, we just encourage you to choose it, to invite your higher self, to make a request. Higher self, will you support me in graduating from the struggle and employing, weaving my fabric, weaving my energetic fields for new ways of being and evolving that are beyond the struggle? And whatever doesn't allow that, will you release and uncreate it? Body, David, same, team, same, to the degree that you choose. So now we're going to bring in an abbreviated process. We have lots of these out on our YouTube channel for healing something that's coming up for you right now that's unresolved from a previous incarnation, that it's like tying up the loose ends. We're just in a process now of tying up a lot of loose ends from previous incarnations that are unresolved. And so one way you can point to this, you don't have to consciously know what it is. And in fact, sometimes it's easier to just let your higher self know what it is, so you don't try to resolve it at this level. A lot of times we can get in the way of trying to figure it out, or think we have to understand the stories at this level in order to resolve it. But actually, the stories were always conjured and crafted by us in order to craft a particular vibrational transformation for ourselves. So what we're really after is the vibrational transformation. And the story isn't where the juice is. It's really not. The story helped bring up and highlight what we're ready to evolve. And so this is true now more than ever. So whatever you have showing up in your life right now that's triggering you, that has you feeling out of your peace, maybe disempowered, maybe not safe, not supported, angry, whatever it is, that's a trail of breadcrumbs. That's one of the breadcrumbs. And so take a moment and invite, it's like you could just even imagine seeing it as a breadcrumb, a little nugget of light, a little trail marker for your journey, for your evolution. Okay, let me get that breadcrumb. I see it. I'm aware of it. I can feel that I'm being triggered or it's bringing something up for me. And maybe there isn't a story attached. So maybe it's a breadcrumb showing up that's just emotion coming up and you don't have a story. Grab that breadcrumb. You don't have to know what it is. Could be yours, could be your body's, could be someone else's. Hold it up to your higher self, your guides, and you could even imagine getting on your inner elevator and going to a dimension where you can meet with guides and advisors and you can hand them a basket of your breadcrumbs. Okay, this is what I'm seeing from my perspective. This is all coming up for me right now. And then as you hand it to them, imagine being willing to release the meaning you've given it at this level. Because again, there's a dilution factor. So whatever we perceive at this level, no matter how intense it might feel and seem, it has a higher interpretation. And if we're willing to release the meaning we've given it, we allow space for it to be something else. We allow for the vibrational transformation. But if we're attached to a particular way of relating to it, a way of seeing it, perceiving it, we don't allow for it to shift. And so we have to be willing to release the meaning we've given it. And you can even just say, I'm willing to release the meaning I've given this. I'm given all these trails of breadcrumbs. And you don't have to know consciously the meaning you've given them. Because again, it could be meaning that was given it 10 lifetimes ago. And you don't even remember what you decided it was. And that whatever situation showing up in this incarnation is simply symbolic of what happened 10 lifetimes ago in that playout, in the script, in the learning. And someone that you're at odds with in this incarnation could be a symbol for something that's unresolved with that archetype in a previous incarnation or way of relating to whatever that is. And maybe it has to do with power. Maybe it has to do with control. That's been coming up a lot lately. Maybe it has to do with victim, tyrant, peace, not peace, whatever it is. And so you don't have to consciously know. And in fact, when you're willing to let your higher self know, your higher self is you in a higher realm with a higher vantage point. You're not giving your power away to something outside of you. It's this idea of surrender where you're willing to not resolve it at this level because Einstein had it spot on. You can't solve a problem on the level it was created. That's where we create the struggle, is we try to. We try to do it on our own as though we're separate from source. So if that feels like you might we could do a whole masterclass on that. Why am I trying to do it on my own as though I'm separate from source? What am I trying to get from that? Is it this idea of feeling worthy or powerful or important or strong? And then fire that as the catalyst for you having your knowing of your strength or your knowing of your empowerment. Get it within. Okay, so handing the basket over to the guides, the higher self. Why the guides? Because they can help. It's this healthy co-creative collaboration where, yes, the higher self knows, but then there's guides to help advise and say, okay, let's look at all facets of the diamond here. Let's make sure we get all the pieces. It's more thorough. And so just imagine handing over that basket of breadcrumbs. Okay, this is all the stuff I'm noticing. I'm willing to release the meaning I give it because I recognize it's all learning on some level. And I've hired all these catalysts to do something, to behave in a certain way, to treat me a certain way, to show up a certain way so that I can get a lesson, do a certain yoga pose, master a certain way of being. Will you look, please? Will you determine? Will you decide? Like determine, discern, that's the word. Will you discern, help me discern what this is really about? What's the core pieces here? And if any of these breadcrumbs are not mine, I'm willing to return to sender with love and consciousness and responsibility. I'm not going to try to shift other people's challenges for them or karma. So just holding space for the returning of what's not yours, your bodies or your teams. Higher self can also sort out what's yours, what's your body, Devas, and then we're going to invite Body Deva, Nature Spirit, to be with its own little basket of breadcrumbs with Gaia Earth, guides and advisors, its higher self, where it can also make this request. Body Deva, are you willing to release all the meaning you've given it? And will you allow for the review of what these breadcrumbs are really about? What's really going on? When am I really being invited? Because more than anything, I want to evolve into more of who I really am. Greater empowerment, greater strength, greater courage, greater fulfillment, greater connection. I want to awaken to my light more. There we go. And so leaning into that desire of what you're really after, letting the breadcrumbs just be like the means to the end, not where you're holding the energetic weight. Hold the energetic weight on, oh, I really want my light. I really want to awaken to oneness, to truth. That's what I really want. It's not about being right or wrong, about the story or the script or deciding someone's right, wrong, good, or bad. It's about awakening to my own light, remembering my own light, because that's the source of everything. And that's why I'm upset. That's why I feel disempowered. That's why I feel not connected, not safe, not supported, not at peace, because I don't have my own inner light in a sustainable way yet. I haven't awakened to it enough to be there 24/7. There we go. And then that shifts everything, because now it isn't about trying to fix anything in the play out. It's about, okay, the play out is a mechanism for me to see the breadcrumb so I can go up, convene with higher self guides and say, okay, what's this about? It's not about what I think it's about. I'm willing to release all the meaning I've given it because I'm trying to make it mean something around the script or the story, somebody being right, wrong, good, or bad, or something being right, wrong, good, or bad. And it's actually inviting me into a particular vibrational transformation. Higher self guides, can you discern what that is? Very acutely. And again, any of this that isn't mine, I don't want to try to shift someone else's stuff anymore. It's like they're saying that's old school. That's what I used to do. That's the struggle. And I'm choosing to graduate from the struggle. Good. And then as it's discerned in a higher realm, just hold space for that discernment. And I'm just helping to witness, body Deva, same team, same. Okay, all these breadcrumbs, this is what it's about. You're actually wanting this particular vibration or this particular shift within your perception or your way of holding yourself. And it's more of a vibrational shift again. So it's not something we can always give words to, which is why when we try to solve it with the mind and the intellect from a place of the story, we can just keep spinning our wheels, solving the problem on the level it was created. Going around the story is how we actually can shift what wants to shift. And so let's bring in this next piece of inviting then higher self. Once you discern what that is that I'm actually after, body, team, same for themselves, will you activate the vibrations of the spiritual lessons I'm actually after? And if it's a previous incarnation trauma that I haven't fully resolved, it's all about activating the vibration from that previous incarnation. Will you set up the appropriate healing chambers, end of life review containers with guides and advisors, beings of love and light, me from the future as an ascended master, body for itself, same, where we can deeply ponder all the lessons we were learning in that previous incarnation and activate the vibrations of the spiritual lessons at the end of those incarnations or in the appropriate timing, whatever's appropriate. And then just hold space, let go. Higher self is doing it. Some part of me is doing it. My energetic fields are engaging and doing this work because I've invited it, because I've chosen it. And now I allow it. Body, team, same. And just imagine and intend, it's like some part of you can hold a gentle awareness that there's all these healing chambers set up where you are going to town, reviewing, activating vibrations of spiritual lessons, moving into a new vibrational stance, vibrational alchemy. And it's using those breadcrumbs to track what was actually being invited, when it was being invited, go get it and activate it, and then allowing it to fully complete, doing the appropriate energetic cleanup at the end of those incarnations, meaning returning and retrieving power, responsibility, fabric appropriately, being willing to forgive and release everyone involved because it was all learning. I couldn't have the breadcrumb without the story, and I needed the breadcrumb to activate the vibration of the spiritual lesson because I didn't do it then. I wasn't awake and aware enough at that incarnation time to do it, but I can do it now. I can use it to do it now. That's the empowering aspect. There you go. We use the present to heal the past. Excellent. And then returning any fragments that aren't yours, retrieving fragments that are, cleaning all the fabric, all the fragments you bring back to you, all the power nuggets you bring back to you, cleaning it, recalibrating, re-embedding it in a whole and healed state. And then fully integrating it. Bodies, same, team, same. Releasing any trauma that was related to those schisms, those breadcrumbs. Releasing all emotions around it. It's like that's the idea of forgiving and releasing it all, releasing any regret, forgiving self. Fully, because it was all learning. We all contracted to play particular roles for each other. Everyone involved did, no matter what it looked like, no matter how messy it was. Yeah, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt many, many, many times. And that's how we evolved ourselves. It's how we got to this point. So we can be in gratitude for all of it. Because it got us to this place of being so awake and aware we can do this type of energetic process where we use the time spiral continuum in a conscious way to go back and heal the past so we don't have to keep repeating it. Yay us. High fives. The guides and the angelic beings are all showing me like high-fiving in the higher realms. Yes, we did it. We got here. We got to this place. How amazing is that? It's incredible. And it's only going to get better from here. And so now we're going to bring in, as we invite that to complete, ripple and reflect, balance and stabilize, integrate, update all grids, all reference points, shake out, reboot. We get to this place where we can start to feel into, okay, what are we being invited to welcome? Because the potentials are incredible for where we are going. So take a moment to pause, get present in the now. That's kind of that energetic void of, okay, let's get current with who we are. And now we're going to, it's like between the inhale and the exhale, the pause. Sometimes I don't allow for that because I get really excited about what's being invited. And the guys are saying, wait, let that integrate. Allow for the pause. Good. We're going to bring in the crystal piece yet too, because that's really lovely. We might go a little bit over the hour, which doesn't surprise me because when I saw these layers, I knew it was a lot that was being invited. What we're being invited to welcome is glorious. It is, take a moment to just feel into this idea of New Earth, what your idea of it would be. If it was like, if you could create it, what would it look like? What would it feel like? And it's this, there's this play energy they're inviting us to engage in. Invite your higher self and guides to collaborate with you. Oh, I wonder how amazing it could actually get. And this can be challenging because we haven't maybe even given ourselves permission to play with what's possible. And if we're trying to use what's happening right now in the outer world as a gauge, we're going to get totally turned upside down and backwards. What's happening now in the outer world is what's leaving, completing. And yes, it's an important part of us getting to where we're going. It's going to pave the way, physical realm. But we can tap into energetically, despite what's happening in the physical realm. Oh, well, New Earth is already established in a higher frequency. So let me link into that and start to allow that to inform me, allow that to guide me to it, to the manifestation of it, meaning it manifests through you. You acclimate to that frequency, and then it begins to birth. And each of us are the bridges. You get to do it for you in your world, and I get to do it for me in my world. And it's like popcorn popping. As each of us does it, penguins in the water. They're showing me the penguins in the water. As each of us does it, more of us start to do it. So can we show you what it feels like, how to, and that it's safe to begin to acclimate to that frequency, to find that line, to find that vine to grab. It's like as you swing from one vine to another. Where's the vine, higher self? Will you locate the energetic vine, energetic stream that gets me into the new, the glorious new? I choose to let go of what was. That's completing. There's nothing right, wrong, good, or bad about it, but it's completing. It's retiring. I choose to welcome the new now. I don't have to wait for that to resolve itself to begin to welcome the new, to begin to acclimate to the new, begin to recalibrate my energetic fields. Higher self, will you do that for me? For the new, exquisite, glorious, lovely, it's like heaven on earth. And so I'm just witnessing you, your body, your teams to begin to tune into that energetic stream. Each of you have a unique energetic stream you're going to ride. And this might be a good one to re-listen to on the spring equinox, or around that time, if it resonates. Really, anytime you're at endings, new beginnings. The eclipses, the guides are saying it'd be good to re-listen for those too. And then calibrate your energetic fields for that energetic terrain to welcome, to step into, move into that energetic terrain in a really empowered, grace and ease filled way, in a way that honors you, your gifts, your wisdom, your mastery, your unique, authentic expression that wishes to birth through you and as you. That's the stream. There you go. Good. Excellent. Good. Then allow that to integrate, balance, and stabilize. Update all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. Okay, so we're going to do a process around the divine connection, and it's a really simple process, but profound. And then bringing in the space, the container for the heart activations, and then we're going to wrap up the session with the crystal piece, the crystals, the earth crystals. In each of you, the earth crystal piece, I mean, all of this is like rippling in a really amazing way as far as being of service. But the crystal piece is going to be really good. Okay. your divine connection, one of the energetics that's coming up at this time relates to maybe places and spaces in previous incarnations where we gave responsibility for our divine connection away to a religious leader, to a guru, to a deity outside of us, to a god outside of us, to a teaching, a practice, whatever it was. And many of us did this probably multiple ways at multiple times. And so the energetic process, this one's going to come in a very unique way. And I'm just going to bring it in to get your responsibility for your divine connection to source back. We invite you to take a deep breath in, orienting as one with source. As you orient with one with source in your ray of light, your column of light, you then gain access to relaying and connecting with your higher self. Body Deva team same. And we invite you at the level of your higher self to work with the energetic fields and the guides to locate a really safe, supportive dimension, clean, clear dimension where you can go and you can invite your future self as an ascended master to come back to be with you in the now, in the present, in that higher realm, and to return to you all responsibility for your own divine connection. This may create emotion. Allow it, please. Body Deva teams, same. Work with your future selves in fully enlightened states. Invite them to come meet with you, to return to you, all responsibility for your own divine connection. This is the cleanest way to get it back. There we go. And you might have just felt more clarity, more expansion, more spaciousness, allowing that to ripple, reflect, resolve anything that's coming up. Allow for the vibrational transformation, activating all vibrations of spiritual lessons, appropriate order, timing, and dimensions, ripple and reflecting it into the now, updating all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. Shake out, reboot. And as you hold the responsibility for your divine connection, leaning into your line of light, encouraging you to get curious about, I wonder, and higher self, will you show me the divine order that exists within me? And you might see sacred geometry, you might see sacred codes, you might see sacred geometric configurations, fractalin, spirals, light, color, sound, aromas. Body Deva, same, team, same. Invite your higher self to show you, and we invite your higher selves to show you and to remind you of the divine connection and the divine, it's like order, divine order that exists within you. That is really, it's like they go hand in hand, the divine connection and the divine order. But now we're going to link in with, okay, let me remember the divine order that I am a part of, that I am, that's in my being. It's like part of my identity, what I was created from and as. And as you invite your higher self to reference that within you, retrieve all your reference points, higher self, ask your higher self to retrieve all your reference points for the divine order off of everyone and everything in the outer world back to you. Reference it internally, at source level. And again, if there's emotion that wants to flow, please allow it. You can invite Body David to go to a safe, supported dimension where it feels safe to process its unresolved emotions. You can do it in a higher realm. And then invite your higher self to, it's not really an amplification, but it's like support you in witnessing, which creates, I guess, an amplification of your own unique divine order, codes, identity, makeup within you, and reflect it onto all your grids, including the divine connection as well. Amplify it and connect it onto all your grids, all your energetic configurations for functioning in this and other dimensions, in all realms where you express yourself. Body, team, same. One of the things I was shown, which is what brought that piece forward, it was probably like last Friday or Saturday, somewhere in there. When that's done, update all grids, all reference points, was this idea of everything is unfolding perfectly. And even though it doesn't always look like that, it's all about what we focus on. And when we focus on what's coming, what is being birthed, that is so glorious, we're able to see, it's like almost like hindsight is 2020. You can look back and see the divine order in it after, but it's all about where we put our focus. So we're just encouraging you to bring your focus, your attachment back to the divine order within, and to hold the knowing of the divine perfection that is unfolding in every moment, no matter what is happening in the outer world. There is this inevitability that is unfolding right now where it all leads us to the singularity of new earth, liberation, expansion, greater, it's like the birth of more honoring structures and organizations and ways of being, ways of relating to each other, ways of, if you think about it in terms of frequency, it's easier to understand how it can transform from what it is to what it's going to be. We are going up in frequency every single day, and especially with this particular full moon, there are exquisite high frequency coming in. And that's why it's inevitable. It's not about fixing or changing anything in the outer world, although that will be part of the play out. It's about, okay, as we embody these higher frequencies, it's inevitable. Everything must start to show up at a higher frequency, more connected, more liberated, more empowered. So when we hold our focus on that and where we're going, what's actually being birthed, we actually are open to receive the higher frequency that is, you could say, the solution. Instead of trying to stream our creative energy externally to try to fix or change, which is trying to solve a problem on the level it's created, and that creates a dissonance, and that doesn't put us in a place of receiving the higher frequency and welcoming the new. Fighting the old is not welcoming the new. We get to choose one or the other. And none of it's right, wrong, good, or bad. So this next layer that I'm looking at, we're going to look at the crystals. And with the crystals, this dropped in maybe last night, this morning, dream time, I want to say. I've looked at in other sessions, and if you did the 111 Galactic Stargate, we brought in some things for the Galactic Embrace, which will also be the case for the 222 Stargate. In this particular piece, we're going to bring in for the Galactic Embrace. I don't want to wait. The guys are saying it probably was for the 222, but I want to do it now. I don't want to wait because it's this full moon energy that has a crystalline energetic to it. And I feel like from my perspective, the crystals want to do it now. They don't want to wait. And maybe it's both. Maybe it's now and 222, but we're going to bring it in. So if you have your favorite crystals, you might want to have them around you or hold them, or just imagine that they're with you, next to you. The crystals are their own beings. They are sovereign beings. And so you might take a moment, if you've ever taken responsibility for any of your crystals, invite your higher self, Body Deva's higher self, to return all responsibility back to them for themselves. And during this potent energetic time, they are serving as gateways. And they've always done this. They always carry particular codes, resonances that we can communicate with them. And if you haven't already done so, we encourage you, your body, your teams to work with the energetic fields and the guides in a higher dimension to set up appropriate lines and grids of communication and connection with your crystals and with the crystals of Gaia that are appropriate. So this could be crystals still in the earth. These could be crystalline pyramids that are underground. Set up appropriate lines and grids of communication and connection. Clean and recalibrate those lines and grids of communication and connection so they're current. So you can relay information back and forth. You have information for them, they have information for you, and just invite your higher self, bodies, higher self, and teams to begin relaying that information back and forth with the crystals in any way that's appropriate. And can you feel, as we're doing this, it's like everything is going quantum. It's really lovely. And now we're going to take it to the next level, because what's happening is this galactic embrace. And what that means is Gaia is moving, she's ascending, she's moving up in vibration where she's going to be a very different platform, and she's going to basically be embraced by the galactic community more, the more evolved galactic community, you could say, higher frequency functioning galactic community. And all of the galactic community is like made up of other worlds, not just Earth, right? There's other planets, other celestial bodies, other worlds in this galactic quadrant, we'll say. We'll start with that because we don't want to expand too much too quickly, that have their own crystalline energy, consciousness, like Earth has its crystals. Other worlds have their own crystals with their own codes and their own frequency. It's like they're teachers, what they have mastery of. That's it, what they have mastery of. And so we're going to invite first the crystals of Earth to work in a dimension where they can, at the level of their higher selves, to first set up an appropriate dimension, calibrate their energetic fields appropriately to set up an appropriate dimension. I'm going slow because the guys are just saying go slower, where they can receive appropriate energetic information from this particular full moon gateway that we're in. Energetic codes, activations for the crystals of Earth. And if you want, if it resonates, you can actually put your crystals outside tonight. Whichever ones want to, you might ask them, do you want to be in the moonlight tonight? Now I'm just witnessing crystals getting the upgrade. And I'm just going to hold space for that to work over the next 48 hours or so, or however long it takes. I'm going to help hold vigil, space. The guides, the ascended masters that are part of this council of light, they're going to help hold space and witness all the crystals of earth. You can do this if you choose to receive the energetic codes from the moon. Okay, I'm going to use my discernment here because they're kind of showing me we might need to wait for that to integrate to do the next piece. They're saying yes. So I've got to honor that. I so wanted to do it today, but I think it's going to come through in the 222, the next layer to that, the next stage to that. Okay, which will be connecting with galactic. Okay, so they need this first and they need to integrate it first. So that's why it came through today. They'll have about 10 days to receive and to integrate, and then they'll be ready for the next step. Good. So the last piece I want to bring forward today has to do with the heart activations for you as a being. And you as a being can also set up a safe supportive dimension where you're receiving appropriate codes from the moon. Body, team, same. And your body, Deva, is like a crystal. You are like a crystal in your own way. You're the galactic crystal. Your body is the earth crystal energy. Your body has an earth crystalline energetic. So just invite your body, Deva, to set up appropriate dimension where it can be with the energy of the moon and receive its codes. And then you as a being can be with the energy of the moon, the codes coming in, receive your codes, which may or may not, depending on where you are in your path, activate the heart, the higher heart, the solar plexus, the throat, the third eye, and just invite your guides and advisors to help support you, your higher self, in activating using these codes in a very conscious way. It's like conscious meaning we're just inviting it in a conscious way, then some part of us is doing it, bringing in these codes and allowing for the appropriate sacred geometric unfolding. So it's like new sacred geometric configurations being activated in and around the heart, in and around the higher heart, in and around the third eye, the throat, and linking the solar plexus with the heart and the higher heart. And so I'm just going to take a moment to witness that. There we go. You've just felt that shift. There was like this. When we do it consciously, it's more efficient and it doesn't take as much effort. It's like the body just relaxed, is what I witnessed. And as this idea, it's like this idea of, okay, you might put your hand on your heart and you just can be in the willingness of higher self, whatever is appropriate for me to step into, to remember, to activate, to become, or to begin welcoming my becoming of. Will you show me? I'm willing. I'm willing. Will you show me? Will you bring me through the appropriate doorway, the appropriate activation sequence, the appropriate sacred geometric reconfiguration that is appropriate for me as a unique being of light at this time? And then Body Deva can do the same. And Body Deva, we're going to invite Gaia Earth to work with you also with this. And appropriate beings of love and light that Body Deva is linked with at the DNA level. And then I'm being shown the whales and the dolphins helping with the DNA. It's like a DNA cleansing and repair that's related to this graduation, rite of passage for the new epoch. It's like preparation for welcoming the new epoch. And you might take a moment as you're being present in welcoming and receiving to also be in gratitude for how far you've come. You have arrived. And just allow this to integrate and continue for as long as it feels appropriate. My guides are funny. A lot of times they use humor with me, and they're saying, sometimes you're a little over enthusiastic, meaning me. I get too excited and enthusiastic, and I want to like give you everything at once. And it's like, okay, we got to do it in stages. It's okay to do it in stages. It's actually a little more empowering to do it in stages. So we'll be, as everything we do is always kind of a continuation of the last thing we just did. I feel like it's all woven together in this beautiful framework and tapestry, and it's multidimensional. So you can pick up a piece of something we did a year ago or 2 years ago, and it still fits with what we're doing now. But I do feel like the new era, the new epoch for this work that I, as a being, help to co-create is going to move into a more playful arena. We'll see. We'll see how that unfolds. Definitely the seed has been planted and it's being germinated. And so we're also probably going to be offering something for the new moon. I feel like that might be a new group, something interactive. So keep your eyes peeled for that because it feels auspicious timing. As we prepare for the new epoch launch. Exciting. Launching a new epoch, and the guides are now stepping forward to just thank each of you for not just all you've done in this incarnation and in this session, but all you've done cumulatively throughout all your incarnations to support what is unfolding now, meaning the welcoming of this new glorious earth and the liberation that is at hand. And so thank you, thank you. The guides are saying you might even get a little weepy. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being the light that you are. Even when you forget that you are, you're still it. Thank you for being the light that you are. And thank you for showing up. We look so forward to collaborating with you in any of the sessions you choose to join us for moving forward. And you can find all of them on our website at embracingtheinfinite.com and or in our online store. I believe right now they're all on the main website. Everything we spoke to that's been published. The 227, I think it's 227. They're saying the new moon offering. We will get out as I get the download and as it grounds more. I'll be able to share that opportunity to collaborate with us. And we always encourage you to follow the resonance. Go around the mind, follow the resonance of what is calling you, what is resonating for you to be, do, and have, because that's your pathway through. That's how you get to the glorious for you. And each of you is unique. Each of you has your own unique stepping stones for yourselves. And so take a moment to just be in gratitude again for the divine order within you, connecting and remembering the divine order that already exists within you, and encourage it to reflect onto your path, onto your stepping stones, to light them up more for you so they're easier to see. And thank you for the honor of collaborating with you in this way. We look forward to connecting with you all again very soon, and feel free to replay this on our YouTube channel. We should have it uploaded in probably an hour or two, and you'll be able to see it and share it if you want to share it. And thank you again. Much, much love. Blessings.